Hey everybody, welcome to Ron's Wisdom Wednesday. I wanted to give you a recap of a segment I did back on August 31st, 2011. In that segment, I talked about the importance of consistency and persistence in any new venture you take on, whether it be training your dog, whether it be learning how to cook, or whether it be real estate investing. Consistency and persistence are two of the key elements. And now in that segment back in August, I talked about a guy named Dan McLaughlin, who I had read about, who had decided to become a professional golfer. Now, lots of young folks decide that they want to become professional golfers, but the interesting thing about Dan is he was 30 years old and he never golfed. But he read a book by Malcolm Gladwell called The Outliers, and in it, Malcolm talks about the unimportance of talent. The unimportance of talent in regarding success. And so he thought, well, golf was something he'd always been kind of intrigued by, and he thought he would give Malcolm's theory a test and see if it would work. So at age 30, the guy quits his job, he sells everything he's got, he moves into the basement of a friend, and he decides he's going to commit 10,000 hours of training to become a professional golfer with the goal of making at least a couple of bucks as a golfer. So that was on April 5th, 2010. Quits his job, says for the next 5 to 6 years, I'm going to play golf every week, 30 to 40 hours, with the idea that through persistence and consistency, I can become a professional golfer. So I checked his blog, his website, which is the Dan Plan, thedanplan.com. And I see now that Dan has completed 2,500 hours. He is now has a handicap of 6. And for those of you who don't play golf, that's extremely good. It would make him a very good amateur player. I would guess probably in the top 5%. Most pro golfers are probably a -2 to -6, somewhere in that area. So he's a very good amateur player. He started out with no clubs. He went out and bought himself a putter. And he started putting until he got real good at that. Then he could buy another club. He happened to be here. Nike happened to hear about him, and now Nike has given him a set of clubs for free and probably some golf wear, etc. But he's still not getting any money from his project, but he's still at it 2,500 hours later. And here was kind of the genesis that got him going. He says talent has little to do with success. Talent has little to do with success. According to research conducted by a professor at Florida State University, elite performers engage in deliberate practice and effortful activity designed to improve their target performance. Now, as I said, this was all started by Malcolm Gladwell's book. Anyway, he's got everything on his website, thedanplan.com. And if you're interested in seeing what persistence and consistency can achieve, check it out, thedanplan.com. Okay, there's one more thing I want to talk to you about briefly before I conclude this segment. I got a call from a friend of mine named Jeff Welch the other day, and Jeff was very proud to tell me that his daughter Erika and her business partner Keeley, are going to be on the Shark Tank this Friday night. Now, Erika and Keeley came up with an idea 1 year ago. 1 year ago, they were college students at the University of Oregon. They were sitting around their dorm room on a Sunday afternoon. They were hungry, and they didn't know what to eat, and they found they had some peanuts, and they decided to make peanut butter. And they thought that there would be, that adding some flavor to it, like cinnamon and honey and those kinds of things, would make the peanut butter different. And with that, they made their first batch of wild squirrel nut butter. And from that beginning, 1 year ago, 2 starving college students have now appeared. There was an article in the Oprah's magazine. I think it was another one in Harper's Bazaar. They've gotten numerous press coverage. They started with no money. Let me remind you that again. And this Friday night, they're going to be on the Shark Tank. So if you're interested in seeing what persistence and consistency can achieve, even at the level of the young, early 20-year-old women, check out their segment on Friday night. I think it's going to be really enjoyable. I'm a little nervous for them. I've watched that program, and the investors that ask them questions are generally have no mercy. So I hope these two women last. So anyway, check out the Shark Tank this Friday night, Erika and Keeley and Wild Squirrel Nut Butter, and see how they do in trying to persuade some professionals to invest in their new company. So until next week, this is Ron Mead, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye now.